Well, President Obama is defending his decision to continue his trip to Cuba and Argentina in the wake of those attacks. Overnight, the president arrived in Buenos Aires despite calls from some Republicans to return home. Margaret Brennan has been in Havana all week following the historic visit that started and it ended in controversy. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, before he left Cuba, President Obama met with some of the activists jailed by the Castro regime, and he attended that ball game. The president argues that terrorism shouldn't dominate the U.S. agenda or stop his mission to repair ties in Latin America. As President Obama landed in Argentina, he was under fire at home for refusing to cut short his trip after the attacks in Brussels.
He is being criticized by some for not cutting his trip short.
While the president is doing the wave at the baseball game tonight, he's got to be worried about the wave of bombings that might come here.
The president was off base today. He wasn't there.
The president spent an historic 2 days in Havana with Cuban leader Raul Castro. Friendly images of the pair at a baseball game, cheering a play at the plate, drew sharp criticism from Republicans.
We are talking about standing up with our allies, fighting for freedom, standing up for national security, and the president takes a trip to Cuba where he effectively gets nothing in return, and he legitimizes a tyrannical dictatorship.
President Obama is happily at a baseball game, yucking it up with the Castro's communist dictators, rather than being in America, rather than traveling to Brussels and standing with our friends and allies.
They cannot defeat America.
President Obama defended his decision in an ESPN interview.
What they can do is scare and make people afraid and disrupt our daily lives and divide us. And as long as we don't allow that to happen, we're going to be okay.
During a speech to the Cuban people, the president briefly condemned the attacks in Brussels.
We will do whatever is necessary to support our friend and ally Belgium.
But he largely stayed focused on his top priority, re-engaging Cuba.
I believe citizens should be free to speak their mind without fear, to organize and to criticize their government, and to protest peacefully.
And what was extraordinary is that Castro was sitting in that audience as an American president criticized him on national TV. And Gail, President Obama argues that it's proof that engaging Cuba is better than isolating it.
All right. It did send quite a message. Thank you very much, Margaret Brennan in Havana.